The land occupied by the weed stretches as far as the eye can see. This is Makurian in Laikipia County, just one of the areas in Laikipia that have been affected. The weed in question is a cactus. Scientifically, it is called Opuntia Stricta. Many here, however, just call it Opuntia or Matunda. There are many tales as to how it got here. Some say it was during the colonial era, when the British administrators thought it would be good for fencing. Others say it started getting out of control only 20 years ago, when some donors thought its fruits could be used as food.
Inaletwa na mkepe. Walapu ate unasaidia watoto wakule. Basi watoto wakikula ingine na tupo huko nje, basi ndege nakula. Sasa ndege ndio naanza kupanda hapa.
Many people here eat the fruit of the cactus, navigating through the thorns both on the leaves and the fruit itself. For Clement Lekuye, however, his initial taste 2 years ago was to be his last. He nearly lost his sight to the thorns when he tried to eat the fruits one day.
Nilikuwa nimeingiwa na hiyo nini. Sasa kuingiwa na hiyo kitu tukatoa. Wakati tuling'oa iliacha kinonda ndani. Wakati iliacha hiyo kinonda ndani, huyo mtoto alianza kuumwa. Anaumwa na hiyo kinonda. Akapona kidogo. Tukapeleka hospitali akapewa dawa. Tukaweka hiyo dawa, haikusaidia.
They have sought all forms of treatment. Still, the pain won't go away.
Tukapeleka mpaka na nyuki. Haikupona. Tukapeleka sasa mpaka hiyo hospitali ya Kikuyu, Nairobi. Sasa ndio alianza kupewa hiyo dawa atumie ndio imsaidia, lakini hiyo kinonda bado iko tu hapa. Inakaa inapona kidogo, inarudi tena.
His mother nowadays nurses him, hoping that one day he will regain his full vision. Children in this village are barred from eating the fruits of their puntia, lest the same fate befalls them.
Sasa akiingiwa na hiyo kitu, haezi sema nilikuwa nakula. Nasema tu imeniingia tu nikienda.
And as Margaret Lekuye takes care of her son's eye, so do the villagers count their losses. Many people here have left their homes as the weed got closer and closer. This family abandoned 2 water tanks, such vital investments in this arid place. They couldn't stand the weed that kept coming. This homestead, we are told, belonged to a man called Mepkori. He too left. His houses remained desolate, some of his valuables rotting away. He tried to build another house outside his compound, but he soon gave up when he realized the weed was moving faster than him. Soon it will take over his second abandoned house.
Kama saizi imechukua kiasi cha shamba kiasi gani na inathiri aje shamba?
Kila mahali 90% of land ndio hii kitu iko.
Since they are the only green vegetation in most of these areas, animals, both domestic and wild, flock to them. They also have this deceptively sweet purple fruits. Livestock, big and small, feast on the fruits, unaware of the danger they pose. One can easily tell when his livestock has been feeding on the cactus. The mouth turns red. That's a sign of danger. Konkesa Timorit never lets his goats and sheep go near the cactus. One has already lost an eye, and 30 of his sheep have died of starvation after eating the cactus.
Mundomo asa akuli. Sasa anakuwa tu anakula matunda tu. Paka nasoreteka.
The best way to feed the goats nowadays is from up the trees. With little vegetation left on the ground, the boys scale the trees to cut branches for the goats, if only just so that they do not stray to the cactus and feed on its thorny fruits. That is the same fate that befell baby elephants when there was a severe drought in the region a couple of years ago. With nothing to feed on, the wildlife turned to the fruits of the Opuntia.
Basically, the thorns get into their tanks, those sites getting septic, and then the animals are not able to feed, and then they die.
It is the tenacity of the weed to survive in these harsh conditions that has shocked most of the residents of Laikipia County. There was simply no way of controlling it.
Tukikata ati tuweke chini inamea tena.
It is not only killing the indigenous vegetation. The greenest grass grows in its midst. Its seeds also cannot be digested.
This plant is protective in nature, and the way you see, is drought resistant. So one of the major agents actually is actually the seed itself. When animals like these elephants feed on the fruits, they disperse the fruit through their stool. So that has become one of the major ways of actually distributing these plants to even distant fields like even Samburu, across Mukodo forest, or even to our neighboring ranches like Oljogi. We've seen these plants growing all over. And you know, an elephant feeds, can eat around even 500 of these fruits. And each and every fruit contains 50 to 70 seeds. So you can imagine all those seeds being distributed.
It's not just the elephants. Baboons, birds, humans and livestock spread the indigestible seeds wherever they go. The manure here, which used to attract customers from as far as Nyeri, Kiambu and Muranga, nowadays goes to waste. It's full of the seeds and no one wants to transfer the cactus to their farms. Help is on the way though. It will come in the form of these beetles called the cochineal. This will be Kenya's second attempt at a biological control of a rampant weed. At the Oljogi Ranch, there is a batch that was imported from the Kruger National Park in South Africa, which is facing the same problem with the weed. The project, started in 2012, has only been attempted at a pilot stage.
We are waiting for NEMA to give us the go-ahead for the next phase, which will be now releasing the cochineals to our neighboring communities and also the private ranches, which are also massively affected by the cactus.
The community has been told to construct 6 small greenhouses which will be used to breed and propagate the beetles. This is one such. It may be too big and not meant for such an exercise, but necessity has made them transform it. With lack of water for greenhouse farming, it didn't have much use at the moment anyway. This decks will have boxes similar to the one at the ranch. Jeremiah is one of the guards here. The system will be simple. Once the go-ahead has been given, the insects will be unleashed on several boxes that have the cactus. It takes several weeks for them to infest a leaf. This leaf is then removed from the greenhouse and placed in the middle of the plants outside, and other leaves are taken into the boxes for the cycle to continue.
This is a biological control, and it is a very slow process, and I believe it will take about 2 years before we see an impact. The cochineals are not going to eradicate the cactus. They're actually going to bring it at a massive control. And hopefully with that we'll be able to have more land available for wildlife and also for livestock.
The insects kill the cactus by feeding on its moisture. It paints a rosy picture as the people can't wait to reclaim the invaded land. For now, all they can do is wait. Wait for the beetles. Andrew Ochieng, NTV.